It's something that we've been hearing a lot about lately, synthetic turf fields and cancer. Could the two somehow be linked? School districts all across the country and here in the Valley have spent millions of dollars installing these artificial turf fields. Many people call it field turf. Well, now coaches and parents want to know if these fields are safe and if there may be a link between turf fields and some soccer players who've been diagnosed with cancer. Fox 10's Mia Garcia investigates.
This is the stuff we're talking about. This is Crumb rubber, and it's essentially ground up pieces of old car and truck tires. Sometimes these tiny black pieces get in athletes' mouths, their eyes, their ears when they're playing sports. Student athletes and the fields they play on at the center of a growing controversy.
Well, it scares you a little bit.
Are synthetic turf fields at Valley High School safe? Or could the rubber in these fields expose athletes to chemicals that cause cancer? Right now, there is no proof synthetic fields cause cancer, but one college soccer coach says no one can guarantee these fields are 100% safe.
I just don't want us to look back, 40 years from now and say, what have we done? I just want to know now that it's okay.
For 22 years, Amy Griffin has been a college soccer coach in Washington State. She started asking questions about the safety of artificial turf after two of her goalkeepers got cancer. Soon, she learned of two other goalkeepers who played nearby, also diagnosed with cancer.
This is interesting, and this is really seems like much more than a coincidence.
Her players started to ask,
do you think it might have anything to do with this rubber that we're rolling around in?
Goalkeepers' faces are closest to the ground, closest to the turf's crumb rubber infill.
They just get everywhere.
Hale Higgins used to be a goalkeeper for an indoor soccer league.
You end up with some beads in your mouth, you end up with beads in your ears, just kind of goes with the territory.
Crumb rubber is made from old recycled tires. It's used as a filling between the pieces of artificial grass. The city of Mesa is home to a large crumb rubber factory.
What do you call this, the chipper?
This is the shredder.
The shredder.
This is video from a live shot we did at the CRM factory back in 2010. CRM's website says they get recycled tires from this tire disposal site just outside of Tucson.
It was just a hunch. It still may be just a hunch, but now I've learned more about what's actually in the crumb rubber.
According to the EPA, these are the chemicals found in most tires. The American Cancer Society says at least 4 chemicals found in tires can cause cancer at high levels of exposure. But low levels of exposure are considered safe.
It seems weird to me that you're not allowed to burn them or bury them. You're not allowed to do a lot of things because they're deemed unsafe, yet we can spread them around our athletic playing fields.
Amy now keeps a growing list of soccer players from across the country diagnosed with cancer. Most of them are goalkeepers. Her list is up to 50 players.
Yeah, it's a hard one as a parent.
Valley High School soccer coach Drew Guarderi.
You've got football that plays on it. You've got all sorts of other events. They do their PE classes on it. And you're constantly taking this stuff home with you.
Still, he's not convinced.
Without more research being done, I have a hard time saying, yes, I believe that could cause cancer.
But Drew does believe more testing should be done. His son Briley is a goalkeeper who plays on synthetic turf.
After hearing it, it kind of sticks in the back of my mind every time I go and play on the turf.
Briley is a senior at Campo Verde High, and he knows all about crumb rubber.
I've gotten in my ear, my mouth. It's just gotten everywhere.
So could swallowing crumb rubber cause cancer?
There has been no proof that these definitely are cancer-causing exposures.
Dr. Donald Northfelt is an oncologist at Mayo Clinic. Questions about synthetic turf fields caught his attention. His teenage son plays lacrosse and will soon start playing on a turf field at a high school in Scottsdale.
I don't think that we can say that there's a pattern of cancer being caused by a specific exposure. We live in a world where we're exposed to so many things that it could easily be explained differently in every individual how their cancers came about.
The Synthetic Turf Council says 60 studies and reports over the last 20 years have looked into the health effects of crumb rubber and found no negative health effects. The STC cites an EPA report saying regular exposure to ground rubber for the length of one's childhood does not increase the risk of cancer. But Amy says none of the studies involve goalkeepers or mimic their playing conditions. sometimes they swallow crumb rubber. In a statement to Fox 10, the EPA says more testing needs to be done. Dr. Northfelt agrees.
The people who are raising this concern are doing it out of caution and prudence and a desire to keep the athletes safe. I don't think any of us can argue with the desire to make conditions safer for the athletes.
But Dr. Northfelt says right now parents should be more concerned about pesticides on natural grass. Lowering exposure to pesticides is one reason schools say they installed turf fields. Right now, some schools in the Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, Gilbert, Fountain Hills, and Higley Unified School Districts have turf fields. Higley Unified says they installed their athletic field only after thorough research into safety, playing benefits, and cost. The district says they consulted with an insurance trust which rated it safe. They also chose an upgraded infill with chips that are made out of a high-grade rubber and frozen using liquid nitrogen. But if that's the case, Amy Griffin still wants to know why the EPA says more research needs to be done. And if more research needs to be done, why are kids still playing on it?
Hopefully it's in hot conditions and raining conditions, it's completely safe, but no one has told me for 100% sure that it is.
And one local soccer coach we talked to makes a great point. He says kids here in the Valley don't play on synthetic turf fields as much as they do up north, where it's cold out, there's snow on the ground, so they're forced to play on synthetic turf fields. I'm Mia Garcia, Fox 10 News.